but also not like pretending to always have all the answers all the time.
Right.
So I think once you get to those like director head type positions, you have to be those people that have like extreme levels of humility. I always want to consider myself as somebody that can learn from anybody. You know, like I grabbed one of our interns over there and asked him if he had opinions on some stuff that we could do with that athlete. You know, if he can teach me something, then to help him be better and move better, then I'm going to try to glean from him as much as possible. But you can't have those kind of genuine interactions unless you are a humble person. So, you know, work really hard, but always stay humble and stay grounded.
Awesome. So for just a couple more here. So it sounds like you had a wide variety of coaching, you know, many sport teams at once, and being narrowed down to just a couple. What have you experienced as most personally beneficial? Like, what did you enjoy the most is in terms of coaching multiple sports and getting diversity, or just kind of trying to own in on one or two?
No, I mean, it's more just like the interactions with athletes. You know, I've never been the person that said like I really want to work with this athlete population, like I have to work with football or I have to work with basketball. I like challenging cases. You know, I've always been somebody that's like extremely inquisitive, and I want the people that are like not lost causes, but people will go like we don't know what to do with them, and we don't know how to help them be better, or even performance limitations, like we don't think this person's going to be very good. What can you do to help this person, you know, succeed? Right. And then just trying to solve those problems, like be a problem identifier and a problem solver. You know, like being able to identify problems before they happen, but at the same time, like be somebody that is very solution driven, optimistic. So, you know, with the interactions with the athletes, I think that's where you start to get to know more about like what's going to help these, you know, individuals succeed, what kind of makes them tick, what's their background, and just again, it's everybody's kind of an N of one. Like you can have the greatest, you know, quote unquote program that you think is going to work for everybody, and it might not work for you, or it might not work for another individual. You have to be able to tweak and change and optimize things, and that's what's fun to me.
Okay, right.
Yeah, more so than just like being a part of it. You know, a lot of people will say like, I just like to be part of the atmosphere. Like I don't want to be just part of it. Like I want to actually help.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So now, for where you are in your career as a head coach here, is there any new level that you are looking to go to? Is there any other phase to your long-term plan?
I mean, not in the near future, but I guess eventually, potentially, the idea of like being an administrator over the top of an entire department.
Okay.
So trying to help mentor, you know, sports medicine and strength and conditioning, sports nutrition, sports psychology, kind of being over the top of a department like that and being able to help set the vision and get everybody working together. And, you know, I'm a huge fan. There's a book that I actually have behind me called Team of Teams by Stanley McChrystal, who was a general, like a 5-star general that was around in the basically he was in charge when Al-Qaeda was like coming to power, and they had a lot of like these old military kind of just tenets that they had held on to for so long, and they realized they were basically fighting a different type of enemy, and they had to completely change like their structure. And he had to be one of those people that's saying like, I know that we've done something like this forever, but this is not working anymore, and we have to acknowledge it, and now we have to find ways to be better. So let's even go back to some of the fundamentals of like, let's talk about how we even organize groups and how we communicate and how messages get translated. So I think that would be a fun challenge, just because there's so many different people you deal with, so many different personalities, backgrounds, to be able to kind of solve problems, identify problems before they become, you know, disastrous. I think that would be like the next level challenge, but there's really not even a lot of those positions that exist.
Right.
In reality at this point, you almost kind of have to carve that out in the future, but I'm looking, you know, a decade down the road in that regard, but okay. that might be like the final challenge and where I could go in this career.
Awesome. Shoot, I just lost it. Oh man, I just thought of a new one when you were talking there. I forgot that. But through your career, what would you say has been one of the most rememberable, you know, rewarding experiences that you've had encountered with?
When I was at University of Memphis, just being in a department where like there was such apathy, like the kids did not get attention from the previous coaching staff that was there, and it was even like everything about like the city itself was like there was just such pessimism. Like nobody had any pride of like wanting to be there, and they didn't think that they deserved to be like coached at a high level. So like having those kids feel like they were getting world-class treatment, I feel like that was probably, you know, one of the most rewarding and difficult times in my experience, just because again you're kind of, you know, hamster wheeling it against maybe what the culture and expectations were of the university. But I felt like by the end of that we had a lot more, again, just buy-in from the athlete population. They felt like they were getting like high level service and that we were moving in the right direction. So I mean that was a fun time because it was so kind of emotionally draining, just being in a place where it was just very backwards from what, you know, you think the typical university experience would be.
Right. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time. Could I get your address? It could be like a home address or just an address for here for a piece of letter mail.
Yeah, absolutely.